not going to get a second chance in the game.
Oh, my name's Adam Ries. I'm the wide receivers coach here at Knox College. I've been here for one full season. Started last spring, so I was able to work through spring ball, work the entire year. So it's been a good experience for me. Been in the state now for 3 years, which has been good coming down from Wisconsin, seeing some good football down in Illinois. Today I'm going to talk to you about my favorite topic to talk about is wide receiver blocking out on the perimeter. I know it's not a big topic of conversation amongst receivers. Obviously, they want to catch passes and score touchdowns, but we've worked on this a lot at every school I've been to, and I feel like it's really worked out for the guys, and they've grown as blockers on the edge, especially with what we're doing with our offense. So the way I kind of broke it down with our guys to kind of keep it simple for them so they can learn is just by teaching the ABCs of the blocking. Starting off with approach, just coming off the ball, working into our buzz technique, contact, and then kind of finishing driving, and then effort and finish. So that's kind of the way we break it down. So day one, every individual we start, day one of camp, we get out there, we work on our stance and start. So that's where it ties into our approach. So whether it's run or pass, we're going to have the same stance coming off the ball, really eating up that leverage with the DB. And I should kind of preface this with, this is kind of outside receiver stalk blocking technique is where this really ties into. So when we talk about our approaches, really using our stem to kind of get hip to hip, even up with the defensive back. So if he wants to come downhill and play, whether it's a screen or a run, he's got to work through the receiver initially. So with our stance, we load up on that front leg. If we have our inside foot forward, so if the ball's to my right, I put about 80% of my weight on my front foot, staying on the balls of my toes, get good Z's in the knees. So I want to, roll off that front leg, but drive that back leg forward and really come off the ball, sell vertical, and try to push those DBs back further. The more space we can work with, the less time that block has to happen. If he's up on us or coming downhill right away, we got to hold that block for a long time, and that's not what we want. So our approach is obviously, finding the DB's leverage and then just eating that up right away. So he's hip to hip, has to work through us to get to the ball carrier. That next stage is our buzz technique. So once we kind of get to about 4 to 5 yards to the DB, we eat up that cushion is where we hit our buzz technique. So I keep a good base. I want my feet wider than my shoulders. I want my butt down, kind of weight on the balls of my feet, slightly on the inside of my toes. So if that DB wants to go to my left or right, I can easily slide with him and cover him up. And as I kind of hit that buzz approach, I drop my butt, my feet are wide, and I'm just moving forward under control, still attacking that DB and bringing the fight to him. I specifically chose the word buzz and not break down, because when receivers hear break down, they think of, sitting down and then just kind of sitting back on my heels and waiting for him to come to me. And that's not what we want. We want to keep bringing the fight to the DB. So get on your toes and just keep attacking forward, hands ready to strike, arms pumping, eyes up, so we can move laterally and vertically at the same time. That third step, contact, obviously, once we eat up all that leverage, now we're within striking distances. My elbows are in, my thumbs are up. I'm going to strike out and up and bring my hips with, all in one motion. Again, still staying on my toes, bringing all the way through, kind of trying to lift up the DB and kind of steer him with my elbows in. So when we go day one, we work progression through contact. So we'll start just on our knees, working on bringing the elbows in and out, and then bringing those hips with, all in one strike. Once they kind of get that figured out and how much the hips play into blocking, is we can stand them up, start them in the buzz technique, get a couple steps in. Again, elbows in, thumbs up, drive those hips through. And I think that's the most important thing, is keeping our eyes up. I teach the guys kind of keep their eyes on the V of the neck, pick a specific target on the DB, kind of correlate it with the movie American Sniper when he was saying aim small, miss small, is pick a specific target on the DB and keep your eyes locked on it. Wherever that goes, you follow it. So after those three, the last three, drive, effort, and finish, kind of explain themselves. Drive is just constantly moving your feet through contact, working to cover that DB up. I always tell the guys, as soon as you stop your feet, you lose the fight. And that's when you start seeing yellow hankies out on the field, is as soon as you start losing your feet and you start reaching and letting them get away from you, we're going to lose. So we got to constantly move our feet, stay active, and just work to cover guys up. The biggest one, I think, within the whole alphabet of blocking is effort. Day one is to be a good blocker, you really got to want to do it. There's guys out there that are less athletically gifted than other guys, but they just want to go out there and they want to block somebody, and they're very good at blocking on the perimeter, especially if you're an RPO offense or you like to get the ball to the perimeter. mean, you got to have guys out there that can block and open up space for your fast guys to work. And then obviously just finish. Tell the guys between the sidelines, between the whistles, it's fair game. We got to work to try to cover anybody up. That's one less person that hits our ball carrier, and that's one more person that we can block. That's a touchdown block for us. I mean, we give out pluses on grading film. Touchdown blocks, that's all we want. Cover people up. You don't have to drive them to the sideline, knock them to the bench. That's nice. But all you have to do is really just cover guys up, stay active, and let our ball carriers work. Because once our skill guys get the ball in their hands, if you can cover one guy up, that's one less guy to make a tackle. So it's very kind of brief overview of it, but we like to try to keep it simple for the guys. So if we're watching film or out on the field, like, hey, buzz, like your buzz position, they kind of know based off the lettering whether it's their approach, buzzing, or the contact, and then kind of break it down from there of what I'm seeing, just so we're all on the same page. Does that make sense? Any questions based off of that? Now, I know, like I said, that's mostly for outside receivers blocking on the perimeter. It changes, slot receivers, whether they're trying to dig out an alley linebacker or blocking on a perimeter as well. But a lot of it's still the same. Now, the approach might be a little bit different on our aiming points, but still, we're going to buzz our feet, we're going to stay low, and we're going to keep our elbows in and strike in the same position.